I'm very disappointed just overall how we performed. I even told Jordan to the side, thank you for having our back today.
That game was probably a great game for the NFL as far as a showcase for the game and competition because you had outstanding quarterback play, you had some very talented people out there playing. You certainly had one of the most expensive players in the history of the NFL out there playing. And so I guess everybody was going to take a look tonight and decide, is he worth all that? It's very simple.
Right.
Dak was indispensable in my mind.
Right.
And so, yes. And Michael wasn't.
I don't know, that was a pretty big sack there at the end. Ryan Clark joining us as we inch closer to Monday Night Countdown at the top of the hour. Obviously, no CeeDee Lamb. It's hard to argue with the fact that Dak was indispensable. What did you think about that Cowboys offense?
Listen, I thought Dak played one of the best games I've seen him play, and it wasn't just about the completion of the passes. It was about the mastery of the pocket. It was understanding how to go through your progressions and find the right matchup. It was the level of toughness that he showed throughout the entire game, but it was making sure that the game wasn't wrecked by mistakes. It was making sure that George Pickens was involved from start to finish and being a big play wide receiver. And it was the timeliness of Dak Prescott. Listen, if not for a game-saving tackle by Micah Parsons, this game ends differently for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that's all because of Dak. And this wasn't the first game this year that I thought Dak played absolutely out of his mind. From the first Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, he's taken it up on himself to carry this offense, and we watched him do that last night as well. It's actually a shame, at least for the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, that this ended in a tie because he played winning football.
Yeah, Ryan, I saw folks asking, where was Micah Parsons on the stat sheet? Obviously, he had the game-saving tackle.
He was unreal.
Let me tell you, what you saw last night was that the best weapon, the best way to stop Micah Parsons isn't to double him, it's not to chip him, it's to have a quarterback play like an absolute machine. Dak Prescott on throws under 2.5 seconds went 12 for 14 for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm not actually that worried about the Packers defense. I think they just ran into a buzzsaw of a performance from the QB. Yes, George Pickens was too much for the cornerbacks to handle. They did get exposed a little bit. The Hobbs injury impacted them there. But to me, this was just about Dak Prescott in complete mastery of this offense. He has been unbelievable this year. And I agree with you, Ryan. I think this was one of the best games of his career, given the level of competition.
Yeah, I thought outside of the quarterbacks, Parsons was the best player on the field. Last night, I don't want to say I'm concerned about the Packers defense, but I will say the thing that shocked me was the lack of rerouting to anybody in the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver group or tight ends. I mean, one of the reasons why Dak got rid of the ball so quickly and effectively was they never put hands on anybody. It was just letting free access off the field, off the route. It was a slant route. It was a stop route. It was a comeback. I mean, there was never any – you go to the ball right before the half after the fumble, and Pickens is just running down the field. This is a curl route. There's not a single person that puts a hand on him till he's laying on the ground. And so, there were so many examples of nobody on Green Bay's defense putting any type of reroute or hand on Pickens, on Turpin, on Tolbert, like anybody. And it was shocking to see, and I think that's part of the reason why Dak threw it so quickly and threw it so well.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, but we haven't seen that from this team throughout the entire season. There's been a lot of off coverage, a lot of cornerbacks sitting and waiting and anticipating that the football will come out quickly. But we've also seen their pressure affect the quarterbacks throughout the first 3 games, and it didn't affect Dak Prescott. And even in opportunities where Dak had to hold the ball and it was a 5-step drop or it was a shotgun, we saw chips, we saw guards coming off late to help tackles. We saw Dak Prescott maneuvering the pocket. And I just thought that his game, right, and the way that he saw the football game from pre-snap to then releasing the football was as high of mastery as we've seen against the Green Bay Packers this week. And I think what we need to learn now is what's Jeff Hafley's next step. Right? They were beating people because they were better up front. Are we going to see more Edgerrin Cooper added? Are we going to see more Quay Walker? Will they bring second-level people? That's the next step.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. There was a play, I think, near the end of the game where they had like some sort of invert coverage with Nixon dropping, and I was watching that happen thinking, this might work against a lot of the quarterbacks y'all played. Not against Dak Prescott and George Pickens right now, the way they're playing. You have to have the capability to man up some of these guys. And I do think it's something they're going to build on and learn from. You're right. This is a defense that plays a lot of zone. They use a lot of deception on the back end. But ultimately, against certain quarterbacks in the NFL, ones who can throw it as quickly and receivers like this, you have to play a different style. I think we will see that.
Yeah, I agree with your guys' points. I just think when you're playing an offense and a quarterback like Dak Prescott that is predicated and built on timing and rhythm, you have to break that timing and rhythm. And one of the ways to do it is to try.
0-4 on the season, first overall pick. Very, very blunt assessment of how things are going. Take a listen.
I mean, we keeping the buck right now. So we 0-4. We have this one. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet, and that's just something that we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better, and we're doing that. But it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
Oh, there are those, Field, who saw this as kind of an indictment of his head coach, Brian Callahan. How do you see these comments?
Well, I think he's got a very good eye for self-scouting, right? Because how he described the Titans is an appropriate way of doing so. A little bit of a pivot here for me, though. I think it's obvious the Titans have a ton of roster holes right now. They can't protect Cam Ward. He is also holding on to the football too long. I'll say this, though. Love the intangibles that I've seen from Cam Ward through the first 4 games this season. He has said all the right things. He's had his teammates back when he has needed to have his teammates back. He has also held people accountable when they need to be held accountable. This is not going to be a year with a lot of wins for the Titans, but getting Cam Ward right, which the early return suggests they did, to me is the most important thing we'll find out this season.
But as a quarterback to say that, Dan, what do you think?
He's spot on. I just hope the situation doesn't ruin the young man, because he's going to be awesome. His tape is awesome. His intangibles are awesome. And I would say this, no one likes fake. He don't like fake, and he don't like fake people, because that was just real. I mean, when he's standing there going, none of us are good enough, and all we do is continue to say, well, we got to get better and do better, but we're not doing better. And so, like, that's the reality of teams that are struggling is you get we got to try to get better every day and improve, but then you go out and lay eggs on game day. And so I just hope that this moment or this situation doesn't ruin him and doesn't jade him to losing and make him numb to it, because it can to young players who struggle in the NFL team success-wise. And he's right. This team is struggling big time.
And I think when he says something like that, that's a challenge to the organization of what's going on. When your quarterback, who's just a rookie, is that outspoken about everything that he's seen in the building so far, he's letting it be known. The way we're going about things, what's going on right now, it is not what it needs to be, and something needs to change.
And now they go out west for back-to-back meetings. They're at the Cardinals and they are at the Raiders. All right, coming up. The Ravens, oh my goodness, they fall to 1-3. That was really, really rough against the Chiefs. And the injury list just keeps growing. J-Mac is back. He's going to tell you whether he thinks their Super Bowl dreams are in jeopardy.